Hi, everybody, and welcome to our virtual picture book party. My name is Melissa, and I will be your host today. We are sharing these programs on Facebook a few times a year, and all of them are available as recordings on our ALD Live YouTube channel. Today, we have 5 different presenters from our library staff, and they're each going to talk about 5 books. They will have just about a minute to talk about each title. But we'll post a link to the book list with all of the titles so you don't have to write anything down. You'll see a couple of slides for each book, one with the cover and another with an illustration from the inside. This month, our theme is funny books and silly stories, since we thought that would be an enjoyable way to kick off summer reading. I'm going to have all of the presenters introduce themselves. Please say your name and your position at the library. Erin, go ahead and get us started.
Hi, I'm Erin. I am the Children and Family Library Services Department lead.
Hello, my name is Michelle. I'm a Storytime specialist.
Hi, I'm Lorianne Armstrong, and I do outreach to preschools.
I'm Tina, and I'm with the Storytime specialists.
And I am Michelle Bakken, and I am a library specialist at our Southland branch.
And my name is Melissa, and I'm the supervisor of the Storytime team. Thank you, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started, and Erin will be going first.
I Don't Want to Read This Book, written by Max Greenfield and illustrated by Mike Lowry. The narrator of this book is just not excited about the prospect of having to open this book and read it. I mean, there are words, and some of them are really large words like infinitesimal, which of course means small. There are long sentences and paragraphs. Our poor narrator is just plain exhausted thinking about all of this. This funny anti-reading tirade is sure to make you laugh and make you want to keep reading to find out what our narrator will complain about next. When you make it to the end of this book, there is a triumphant celebration of your accomplishment. Even avid readers might remember agreeing with our narrator's thoughts when they were first learning how to read. A fun book for ages 4 and up.
Ronin the Librarian. That's right, not Ronin the Barbarian. On the cover, Ronin stands tall on a rugged coastline, holding a book proudly above his head. Yes, Ronin likes to read, not raid, and wants to share his treasures with fellow barbarians. Up until recently, Ronin was known for invading and raiding and trading, until one day he pillaged a trunk full of a different kind of treasure, books, written by sisters Tara Luby and Becky Caddy, who grew up raiding libraries all over the country, and illustrated by Victoria Maderna. The story takes readers ages 4 to 8 back in time to the olden days of barbarians roaming the countryside looking for valuables. Ronin's friends do not understand how books can be more valuable than jewels, animals, and gold. How did Ronin become hooked on reading and sharing his reading treasures with his comrades? He creates a library. Turns out that barbarians do like to read.
Norman Didn't Do It. Yes, he did. By Ryan T. Higgins. Wonderful for ages 3 to 5. Norman Didn't Do It is a contemporary tale of friendship. Norman is a wide-eyed porcupine whose best friend Mildred is a tree. During the day, Norman loved playing baseball with Mildred, bird watching, playing tree together, and even playing chess. They were best friends, just the two of them and only the two of them. But when a surprise pops up, life will never be the same again. The story alternates between short narration and word bubbles filled with Norman's heart on his sleeve thoughts. It becomes clear that while Mildred neither talks nor moves, Norman feels that he is in a give and take relationship. At night, Norman settled himself in Mildred's branches and reads to Mildred. But when a seedling springs up nearby, will Norman still be Mildred's favorite? Ryan T. Higgins' signature wit, whimsy, and humor brilliantly explore the depths and complexities of friendship.
My first and favorite book is 13 Stories About Harris. Although this is a picture book, the author really wrote it for parents of toddlers. I laughed at every vignette in this book. The publisher's note gives a great overview. Young Harris enjoys big and little adventures at home, at his friend Anya's house, and throughout his city neighborhood. The picture here reminds me of the time that my daughter used a permanent marker on our apartment wall. And the caption says, that's why they call them permanent markers. The stories are short, and the cartoon-like illustrations include clues for young children. Enjoy talking with your children using the pictures to help them tell the story.
Young Bear has just finished his bath, and Big Bear wants him to put on underwear. Young Bear would rather be B-A-R-E, and their tug of war will be fun for adults and children alike to read. The illustrations are a delight. Young Bear's joy in his own nakedness and Big Bear's increasingly frustrated expressions will be something that parents and children can relate to. I chose this book because it is one of the best read alouds ever. The rhyming text is so funny. And as I said before, the illustrations are perfect. Little Bear's antics and expressions are priceless, and his many creative ways to wear underpants will inspire probably every kiddo who reads this book. Author illustrator Jen Harney got the idea for underwear when she was taking her dog for a walk. And what she produced is a truly hilarious and relatable tale of bedtime mayhem.
Secret Agent Guy, written by Kira Bigwood and illustrated by Celia Krapman. Franklin Brothers Investigations, the other FBI, are on a mission, Operation Lollipop. Follow along as they put their plan into action to liberate a lollipop from the kitchen after bedtime. They've drawn a map, planted booby traps, and have check-in points with one another to avoid being caught by their parents. Their use of a walkie-talkie and tablet seems to make their plan unbeatable. But there is another agent at play, Secret Agent Girl, also known as their sister, who has plans of her own. Make sure to look for the fun details and illustrations like magnifying glasses on Secret Agent's pajama pants. This silly bedtime book can also be read to the tune of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, a great book for ages 3 to 7.
A bedtime problem child. Roderick, he hates to go to bed. His parents decide he needs a bedtime buddy. Author Drew Daywalt and illustrator Scott Campbell are not newcomers to children's picture book humor. The back cover of Sleepy, the Goodnight Buddy, shows Mom coming home from the toy store with Sleepy. That night at bedtime, they give Roderick the new toy to help him relax. What a great idea, or is it? The drawing in the front cover displays the skepticism that Roderick is feeling about this gift. Tonight, the tables are turned when Sleepy turns out not only to talk, but to be very demanding as well. Parents and kids ages 3 to 5 will giggle when they see how this stuffy is outpacing the boys' usual bedtime demands. The story turns into a Sleepy and Roderick drama. I need a drink. I have to brush my teeth. What was that noise? I have to use the bathroom. You know how it can go. Finally, after many attempts at getting his goodnight buddy to sleep, Roderick is successful.
Ducks, written by Deborah Underwood, illustrated by T.L. Macbeth. Children ages 4 to 8 will delight in the humor of this book. The almost wordless picture book manages to tell a story. This is the story of a distracted duck that loses his family. He's distracted by a butterfly. Duck wanders away from the pond for a moment and returns to find the other ducks gone. Will this duck find his family? How will he find his family? Searching high and low, Duck discovers many clues around the city. He follows squawking sounds, footprints, floating feathers, eggs, but no ducks. Just when he thinks he has found something based on various clues, it turns out to be something else. Wonderful expressions on Duck's face, perfect emotions of annoyance and disappointment. Will Duck's feathered friends finally be found? Will it end in a delightful duck reunion? With sparse storytelling and lots of visual jokes, this is a funny and sweet celebration of family.
My next book is Bunny Will Not Jump, written and illustrated by Jason Tharp. This early reader has expressive illustrations and interactive dialogue for new readers. The book reminds me of the style of the Elephant and Piggy books. Big is friends with Bunny, and he has a problem that Bunny won't jump anymore. In the picture that I chose, Big is helping Bunny talk about why Big is different than Bunny, and the author provides the children an opportunity to explore the emotions in a humorous way. Why can't the bunny jump? What will help motivate Bunny to jump? Big shares and some silly suggestions. Will Bunny jump? Check out this book and see.
A snail who's determined. A cabbage that's plump. A journey that is truly epic. Sorry. While scooting around one day, Snail spots a field of scrumptious cabbage on the other side of a dangerous road. The self-assured protagonist approaches the obstacle with a can-do attitude. You can't stop me. But after traveling, Snail decides to take a break. Just then, a vehicle in the distance zooms closer. Snail narrowly avoids it. Further perils and delays arise, but our hero slimes his way out of all of them. He also meets a group of ants who aren't very friendly at first, but end up becoming his friends. Will he be able to find the cabbage and feast on it? Will he be able to avoid the crow who thinks snail would be a tasty lunch? Will he be able to have friends come over for tea again? You'll have to read the book to find out, but it's very, very clever, and I would recommend it for ages 3 and up.
Off Limits, written and illustrated by Helen Yoon. What could possibly go wrong when a young child enters the home office that is clearly marked as off limits? How much trouble could they get into by taking a tiny piece of tape? Well, soon a lamp, a stapler, and the child themselves are covered in tape. What other wonderful discoveries are made in this forbidden room? Paper clips and binder clips, and the most joyous discovery of all, sticky notes. This fun book highlights the power of play and is the 2022 Cloud Bell winner in the play category. a charming celebration of imagination and office supplies for kids ages 3 to 7.
Do you smell anything? Elliot smells something terrible, and he is determined to find the source of that smell in this funny book called Something Smells. The place, Elliots Home, a somewhat typical breakfast scene, illustrated in pencil, ink, watercolor, and gouache by Stephen Henry. The time, early morning, a few days after Halloween, when Elliot wakes up in his glow-in-the-dark exact replica of his skeleton, best costume ever. The detective, Elliot. Going to each corner of the house, his nose leads him to investigate every person and room. Nope, not the baby. Nope, not Grandma's Gerfarschenschnaffel being prepared in the kitchen. Nope, not the trash can. I don't want to spoil the fun, so check it out. Author Blake Lillian Hellman, in her picture book debut, turns Elliot's mystery into a scavenger hunt that will have 3 to 7-year-olds laughing out loud.
Norman, the Slug with the Silly Shell. Written by Sue Hendra and illustrated by Paul Linné. Norman is a slug, but he wishes he was a snail. The search for a perfect shell brings him across the most interesting possibilities, and the results, well, things don't turn out quite the way anyone thought they would. He tries a tennis ball, an apple, and even an alarm clock, but none of them feels quite right. Until one day, Norman stumbles upon a donut. What could be better than that? But is that sweet shell really the perfect fit? Laugh out loud at Norman's crazy antics as he goes to hilarious lengths to find a shell of his own. Will Norman be satisfied once he finds one? Or will his dreams get bigger and bigger and bigger?
Hungry Jim is by Laurel Snyder. And that's my third book, which is great for preschoolers and older children. The book begins with Jim looking in the mirror to see himself as a beastly lion. He's very hungry and pancakes are not enough. What can satisfy Jim? The page here shows Jim licking his paws, and he is still hungry. Who was delicious? The book has wonderful illustrations and great dialogue to help build vocabulary. Children can have fun trying to predict what will happen, which helps them get ready to read. It has a surprise ending, so try this unique picture book thriller. It is a thriller. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Do you love guessing things? Do you love winning prizes? Do you love bananas? If yes, do I have a book for you. Come along with Mr. McMonkey and his two friends, Action Clam and Cow, as he presents a series of scenarios and asks you to guess whether the outcome will involve a crash, a splash, or a moo. This book is silly in the very best way. Kids will love guessing how each scenario will end, and the adults, well, they should enjoy reading this if they can summon a super excited monkey voice. In all seriousness, Crash, Splash, or Moo is a wonderful introduction to predictive reading and guessing an outcome using the information that you have at hand. You can find it in ALD's More to Explore section. And if you want to learn more about Bob Shea, he has a channel on YouTube and his website rocks.
I Can Only Draw Worms, written and illustrated by Will Mabbitt. As the title suggests, the only illustrations you will get in this book are worms. Lots and lots of worms. Worms wearing glasses, a worm riding a flying unicorn. Well, sort of. I mean, the author can only draw worms after all. Worms get lost and found, and some of our worms get confused for other worms. Not only is this silly book about worms, but it is also a counting book. Younger kids will enjoy the bright colors and contrasting backgrounds, but with its short sentences and easy to read text, makes this book a fun choice for kids starting to read independently. And no matter how old you are, you might just be inspired to give a go at drawing a worm or two for yourself.
Yay, a birthday party! The cover of this book foretells part of the story with a beautiful slice of blue frosted birthday cake with a cherry on top, cream-filled layers on a purple plate surrounded by sprinkles, all shared with a cockroach, a waving, friendly narrator cockroach who thinks your birthday was the best. Written by Maggie Hutchings. Sprinkles on the end papers and a canister-type vacuum on the title page welcome readers 3 through 8 to the event. Hand-lettered text and playful, colorful images by Felicity Sala show the many attendees running around the house. They're running around the yard too, snacking, jumping, yelling, spilling food, playing limbo and piñata, all being observed by the cockroach until he falls asleep on the cake. A loud scream interrupts the party, and Dad comes to the rescue with it, also known as the vacuum cleaner. Don't want to spoil the ending, but bug humor is in great evidence, and Cockroach has a very positive attitude about life.
Sheepish, Wolf Undercover by Helen Yoon. A wolf in sheep's clothing gets the wool pulled over his eyes. Wolf dreams of tasty sheep, sheep sandwiches, sheep sushi, sheep tacos. Giggle-inducing illustrations depict the wolf infiltrating the friendly neighborhood herd, blending in by helping the sheep with chores. Wolf's plan works so well, he becomes part of the family, and suddenly the sheep don't seem quite as tasty. With a charming twist ending and lots of visual fun, this straightforward story unfolds with simplicity and wit. Will their awareness of his duplicity give them the upper hand? Will they decide to befriend the would-be enemy? Best ending ever. And I really love that it's a fable that doesn't spell out the moral, but still makes it clear.
My next book is Mel Bell by Corey R. Tabor. Mel is a young bird learning to fly. Mama bird is gone, and Mel is tired of being in the nest. She decides that today is the day she will fly. She's scared, and it's a long way down from the top of the tree. What will happen when she leaves her siblings? The book is designed to give the reader an idea of how it would be to fly by turning the book as you read. The picture here is in the water. How did Mel find herself in the water? The end pages include facts about kingfishers that give some background knowledge about the story. Find the picture book in the animals picture book section at the Arapahoe libraries.
Bert the Beetle Doesn't Bite by Ashley Spires. This is actually a graphic novel, but I had to include it because Ashley Spires is an author illustrator who really understands the ways a child's brain works. In her newest book, she introduces us to Bert, a talking beetle who is just filled with fun facts about bugs. Bert is a good friend and a great hugger, but he would rather have a bug superpower the way his friends ant, termite, and stink bug do. He can't carry 50 times his weight like ants, and he's not able to spray paralyzing venom like termites can, and he doesn't do what stink bugs do to repel their predators. But what a June beetle like Bert is known for is chasing porch lights and flailing their legs in the air when they fall upside down. That doesn't really count. However, when his friends get trapped in a spider web, they look to Bert to set them free. Maybe being a good friend and a great hugger is also a superpower. And that might be the overall message of this charming book. I'd also like to make sure and bring your attention to the end pages because they are hilarious. Kids and grown-ups alike will have a great time poring over and figuring out the true name for each insect on the page.
Chuck Full of Ducks, written and illustrated by Ross Brock. Are you ready to quack up? Delivery dog Bernie gets an order for a truck full of ducks, but the directions to the house disappear. Poor Bernie now needs to stop and ask everyone he sees if they ordered a truck full of ducks. Construction workers? No, I ordered a dump truck. The pirate? No, I ordered crackers, not quackers. And on until frustrated Bernie yells out, "Did anyone order a truck full of ducks?" He finally hears someone say yes. One H. Fox in the deep, dark woods. The ending has a silly surprise, sure to make you chuckle. Each page has fun details, and each time I read this book, I notice new things in the illustrations. A fun book for preschoolers and early elementary school age kids, plus plenty of humor to keep the adults entertained too.
Meow. Cats rule. Yes, that is evident in this fun day of rhyming chaos in preparation for Grandma's visit. Quick, hurry, clean everything up. It's such a mess. If Grandma sees, she comes at 2, so hurry, please. Chores are posted on the refrigerator with large, colorful, magnetic letters, illustrated so well by David Robertson throughout the story. Such a great idea until, meow, when Cat hears that part of the cleanup, when she hears that part of the cleanup involves her getting a bath, the magnetic checklist on the refrigerator mysteriously gets scrambled. Alice B. McGinty's humorous story, Bathe the Cat, about a family of diverse characters, will have kids ages 3 to 5 giggling every time the cat's paw appears from the top of the fridge to mix up the letters and the list. The family starts running in circles to clean up the house, except Dad vacuums the cat, Bobby rocks the dishes, Sarah scrubs the lawn, and Bobby sweeps the baby. What? All this before Grandma arrives.
Ergo, written by Alexis Deacon and illustrated by Vivian Schwartz. From award-winning bookmakers comes an enlightening news story about discovering the world and your place in it. For budding philosophers of all ages, this is an uplifting story of Ergo the chick. Ergo wakes up and sets about exploring her world. She discovers her toes, wiggle, wiggle. She discovers her wings, flap, flap, and then her beak and her legs. She has discovered everything. I am the world, and the world is me, she thinks. But then she considers the wall around her. Is that part of her too? And something outside the wall goes bump. What could it be? The only way to find out is to peck, peck, peck through to the other side. This is an inspiring story told with heaps of humor that will be enjoyed by children 2 years and up.
My last book is Pacho Nacho by Sylvia Lopez. Pacho Nacho is a story that, according to the author, originated as a Japanese folk tale that has been retold for the Hispanic audience. When I read this story, I could relate because I was named after my 2 grandmothers. And when I went to school, I would take so long printing my name that the spelling test would have already begun. Pacho Nacho was named by his parents and his extended family so that everyone was asked not to shorten his name. In the picture here, there's a picture and it shows a lot about the different parts of the story and how silly things can get. He ironically gets in a situation where he needs a simple name. And as with all good folk tales, there's a tricky situation that needs to be overcome. What happened to Pacho and his brother, Juan, and how does that involve Pacho's long name? Reading humorous dialogue that children can relate to helps them to want to love reading. Find out what happens to Pacho in this silly book.
Night Owl's author, Christopher Denise, grew up in Ireland, which is a place with a lot of castles, and I think some of that background knowledge made its way into this book. Little Owl wants to be a knight more than anything, but there are all kinds of obstacles in his way. For starters, there's his small size and the struggles he has lifting his sword and shield. Daytime classes are kind of tough for him to stay awake for because he's an owl. But with grit and perseverance, he graduates from Knight Academy with honors. Late one night, as he's guarding the castle, he encounters a dragon. Explaining that he is much too small to fill up a dragon's belly, he then offers a clever solution and saves the day. What I love about this book are the many sweet messages found throughout, that even a tiny owl can find his place in the world, be a hero, and make new friends. He can even outwit a fierce dragon using just his wits and a little bit of pizza.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. That's all of our titles for today. We will post a link to a book list so you can access that in our catalog. And thank you to our panelists for the very difficult job of reading a lot of goofy books to choose their top picks for this list. Remember, you can sign up for story times and other programs, both in person and virtual, at our events tab at arapahoelibraries.org. And you can find more book lists, links to storytime videos, activity ideas, and a lot of other resources at our 0 to 5 page under Browse the Library. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again.